Mickey's. I'm looking.
Morning edition from Enterprise is here for the lifelong learners, the investigators, the kids.
Mickey's fine. I'm
For
looking.
you, join us every week.
I got myself a big ass. Put some it's one of the smoky
This is on the media.
barrel
Gladstone.
King
If you
Game.
show a 3-year-old child a picture and ask them what's in it, you'll get pretty good answers.
Okay. There's a cat sitting in a bed. The boy's petting the oven. Those are people that are going on an airplane. That's a big airplane.
Those are clips from a 2015 TED Talk by Faux, a computer science
Think that fool.
professor at Stanford University. She was consumed by the fact that despite all of our technological
Nice and windy out
advances,
today.
our fanciest gizmos can't make sense of what they see. Our most advanced machines and computers still struggle at this task. In 2010, she started a major computer vision competition called the ImageNet Challenge, where software programs compete to correctly classify and detect objects and scenes. Contestants submit AI models that have been trained on millions of
That's
images
so good.
organized into thousands of categories.
Man, it's so good.
Then the models given
I'd run down and
images
get one.
never seen before and asked to classify them. In 2012, a pair of doctoral students named Alex Krzyzewski and Ilya Sutskever entered the competition with a neural network architecture called AlexNet, and the results were astounding.
They did much better than the existing technology, and that made a huge impact.
Jeffrey Hinton was their PhD advisor at the University of Toronto and collaborator on AlexNet.
See that thing fly?
January,
That like
Jeff
floated.
was still working at Google.
Not like it.
In
Mickey's
May,
fine.
He publicly left the company specifically so that he could.
But the Western say we should worry seriously about how we stop these things getting control over us. And it's going to be very hard. But for the existential threat of AI taking over, we're all in the same boat. It's like nuclear weapons. If there's a nuclear war, we all lose.
The warnings hit differently coming from Jeffrey Hinton because he's had a hand in pushing AI along as an explorer and developer of AI technology, especially the architecture of neural networks since the 70s. It actually began when a high school friend started talking to him about holograms and the brain.
Holograms had just come out, and it was interesting the idea that memories are distributed over the whole brain. So your memory of a particular event involves neurons in all sorts of different parts of the brain. And that got me interested in how memory works.
Hologram meaning a picture, or more, for lack of a better word, holistic way of storing information as opposed to just words. Is that what you mean?
No, actually, a hologram is a holistic way of storing an image as opposed to storing it pixel by pixel.
Ah,
So when you store it pixel by pixel, each little bit of the image is stored in one pixel. When you store it in a hologram, every little bit of the hologram stores the whole image. So you can take a hologram and cut it in half, and you still get the whole image, it's just a bit fuzzier. It just seemed like a much more interesting idea than something like filing cabinet.
This is the power of mulligan buzzing.
Where
You listen to NPR and science,
stored as a separate
and it
file
changes
filing
science.
cabinet.
there was somebody
Just like Mulligan is defeated
you said, who
and
took out
defunct
bits
and
of
debunked
rats'
and muted
brains
the whole
and found
racism
that the rats
because it's
still
been defined as a
remembered
simple
things?
color.
Yes.
Simple
Basically,
colors
what he showed was that the
are,
memory for how to do something
don't define
isn't
enrichment,
stored in any
the enriching
particular part
lives
of the brain,
of
it's
people
stored in
across
many
this
different
globe.
parts of the brain.
Simple
And in
color
fact, the idea
is
that,
not enough.
for example, an
It's a
individual
decree, a
brain so
scientific
much
term
your
based on
memory
bunk,
doesn't make a lot of sense because your brain
such
cells
as the whole
keep
idea of
dying.
race.
And each time a brain
We're not
cell
that.
dies, you don't lose one
We're
memory.
not that different.
This
We're
notion
mostly the
of
same,
memory, this holographic
if not
idea,
all the same.
was very much
Something Mulligan
in
does kicks
opposition
your
to
fucking ass.
conventional symbolic AI,
Yes.
which was all the rage in the last century.
Yes, you can sort of draw a contrast between two completely different models of intelligence. In the symbolic AI model, the idea is you store a bunch of facts as symbolic expressions, a bit
Symbolic.
like English but cleaned up so it's not ambiguous. And you also store a bunch of rules that allow you to operate on those facts. And then you can infer things by applying the
There's some laundry going.
known facts to get new known facts. So on logic, how reasoning works, and then they take reasoning as to be the core of intelligence. There's a completely different way of doing business, which is much more biological, which is to say, we don't store symbolic expressions. We have great big patterns of activity in the brain, and these great big patterns of activity, which I call vectors, these vectors interact with one another, and these are much more like holograms.
So you've got these vectors of neural activity.
So, for example, large language models that lead to big chatbots are all the rage nowadays. If you ask, how do they represent words or word fragments? What they do is they convert a symbol that says it's this particular
You
word
can't really see it.
into a big vector of activity.
You might be able to recognize it a little bit in my gestures or maybe voice, vocal. I don't like a buzz kicking in right about now.
Similarity of things are conveyed by these embedding vectors. Very different from a symbol system.
And you can't see it.
A symbol has is that you can tell
But it's the most important thing. It's more like a buzz right about now.
Paradox, which I understand is the observation by AI and robotics researchers that reasoning actually requires very little computation, but a lot of sensory, motor, and perception skills. He wrote in it's comparatively easy to make computers exhibit level performance on intelligence
Well, I'm having a
playing checkers, and
good day.
impossible to give them the skills of a 1-year-old when it comes to perception and mobility. I just wonder, do you think machines can ever think until they can get sensory motor information built into those systems?
There's two sides to this question, a philosophical side and a practical side. So philosophically, I think yes, machines could think without any sensory motor experience. But in practice, it's much easier to build intelligent
Not like
systems.
you're drinking on YouTube is way better than sitting at a bar all day trying to get all
But the big language models
something up.
many of them just have language as their input. One thing you said at the beginning of this question was that reasoning is easy and perception is hard. I'm paraphrasing. That was true when you used symbolic AI. When you tried to do
It's like kind of symbolic.
explicit facts and rules to manipulate them, perception turned out to be much harder than people thought.
Was that my buddies earlier?
As soon as you have big networks,
Mary Jane Titanium was there, and I had this vision of playing this tune on the guitar. I might be doing an after threat. Let's see if it comes across like I envisioned it.
Analogical reasoning. One thing is like another.
Yeah, we're very good at making analogies.
So you went on to study psychology, and your career in tech.
A lot of people are saying maybe Hurricane is better than Mickey. Teach on to his own because the two different products, so they're going to be different. I like to bounce back and forth. Anyway, I had a 40 of Hurricane glass. It just had like 25-ounce cans and 16-ounce cans. And I think one time I had a 12-pack, 12-ounce Hurricanes. They all tasted different. Strangely, oddly.
Wouldn't work. And in fact, what you were doing,
Uncanny enough.
was resolutely anti-AI. You weren't a popular guy, I guess.
That's right.
I'm anti-AI.
Neural nets and AI.
I get all these friend books requests.
It wasn't until neural
And
nets
it's mostly coolers.
much more successful than symbolic AI. That all the
I don't accept them because I don't use it.
AI to refer to neural nets.
I only use it because of Messenger.
So, when explaining the difference for a non-technical person between what a neural network is and why it was revolutionary compared to symbolic AI, a lot of it hinges around what you think a thought is.
I recently listened to a podcast where Chomsky repeated his standard view that thought and language are very close. Whatever thought is, it's quite similar to language. I think that's complete nonsense. I think Chomsky's misunderstood how we use words. If we were two computers and we had the same model of the world, then it would be very useful one computer telling the other computer which neurons were active. and that will convey from one computer to another what the first computer was thinking. All we can do is produce sound waves or written words or gestures. That's the main way we convey what we're thinking to other people.
Mm-hmm.
A string of words isn't what we're thinking. A string of words is a way of conveying what we're thinking. It's the best way we have because we can't directly show them our brain states.
I once had a teacher who said, if you can't put it into words, then you don't really understand it.
I think there were all sorts of things you can't put into words that your teacher didn't understand.
So the only place
That's
words
right.
exist is in sound waves and on pages.
The words are not what you operate on in your head to do thinking.
It's not only right,
It's
it's
these
damn
big vectors
straight.
of activity. The words are just kind of pointers to these big vectors of activity. They're the way in which we share knowledge. It's not actually a very efficient way to share knowledge, but it's the best we've got.
So today you're considered a kind of godfather of AI. There's a joke that everyone in the field has no more than 6 degrees of separation from you.
I think
You went on to
perception
become a
of things
professor at
is
the
also
Computer Science
how we gain
Department at
knowledge.
the University of
Watching,
Toronto, which helped turn Toronto
listening,
into a tech hub.
and not necessarily
Your former
words,
students and
but
postdoctoral
just sounds
fellows
in
include
general.
people who are today now leading the field. What's it
Field.
like being called the godfather of a field that rejected you for the majority of your career?
It's pleasing.
Yeah,
And
malt like
now,
a buzz
because
is
we're
pleasing.
using neural nets.
Yes.
How do you define thinking? And do you think machines can do it? Is there a point in comparing AI to human intelligence?
Well, a long time ago, Alan Turing, I think he got fed up with people telling him machines couldn't possibly think because they weren't human, and defined what's called the Turing test. Back then, you had teletypes, and you would type to the computer the question, and it would answer the question. This was just sort of thought experiment. And if you couldn't tell the difference between whether a person was answering the question and whether a computer was answering the question, then Alan Turing said, "You better believe the computer's intelligent."
I admire Alan Turing, but I never bought that. I don't think it proves anything. Do you buy the Turing test?
Basically, yes. There's problems with it, but it's basically correct. I mean, the problem is, suppose someone is just adamantly determined to say machines can't be intelligent. How do you argue with them? Because nothing you present to them satisfies them that machines are intelligent.
I don't agree with
This
that
is the problem.
either. I could be convinced if machines had the kind of hologram-like web of experience to draw from, the physical as well as the mental and computational.
The neural nets are very holistic. Let me give you an example from.
It's malt like a buzz is very realistic.
There's probably better examples.
Alan Turing knew that.
Google
You drink malt
but
liquor
ChatGPT
just like the rest of us once in a while.
You ask
But when you do it on a daily
ChatGPT
basis and put it on YouTube,
to
it changes your
describe
life for the better.
using one sock in
Because it
the
was,
lab
without malt like it, it's only going to be
Declaration
worse.
of Independence. It ends up by
Look at this
saying
label's going
that
on.
all
Without malt like
socks
it, your life's
are
only going to be
endowed
worse.
with certain rights, certain inalienable rights by their manufacturer. Now, why did it say manufacturer? Well, it understood enough to know that socks are not created by God, they're created by manufacturers. And so,
What else I got?
if you're
Got a
creating
V8, but
socks in the style of
I'm curious. I'm probably running on
the
time.
equivalent of God is the manufacturer.
I don't even give a fuck. I got malt like a buzz.
Sensible,
Can't take that away. You can't take that away from me.
That's an example.
Vanilla wafers, these aren't Goya. I saw them as $1.55. They had chocolate, strawberry, vanilla. And I turned away from the vanilla, my first instinct. But then I went back to it and I said, let's try vanilla. Since vanilla is very rare, it takes a lot of flowers, and there's bees, and there's a bee on Mickey's. So let's try it. We'll do a pairing test.
We don't have identical brains. Our brains run at low power, about 30 watts, right? And they're
30
analog.
watts.
We're not as good at sharing information as computers are.
You can run 10,000 copies of a neural net on 10,000 different computers, and they can all share their connection strings because they all work exactly the same way. and they can share what they learned by sharing their weights, their connection strengths. Two computers that are sharing 1 trillion weights is an immense bandwidth of information between the two computers. Whereas two people who are just using language have a very limited bottleneck.
So computers are telepathic.
It's as if computers are telepathic, right?
Were you excited when ChatGPT was released? We've been told it isn't really a
Vortman.
huge advancement. It's just out there for the public.
Vortman wafers,
Its abilities, it's not
vanilla
something
style,
from
coupled with
a
the
number of
Mickey's.
other things already
40.
developed. But it made a big
So far, so good.
because
It's not like the Hurricane JJ Bakery Blackberry.
so it was easy to use.
Let's give it a shot.
People using AI for autonomous lethal weapons. The problem is that a lot of the funding for that AI is by governments who would like to replace soldiers with autonomous lethal weapons. So the funding is explicitly for that people. That's the sense we are not.
That's pretty clear one. Is there something
It's working.
about potential applications that give you pause?
I'm hesitant to make predictions beyond about 5 years. It's obvious that this technology is going to lead to lots of wonderful new things. There's one example, AlphaFold, which predicts the 3D shape of
It's working.
molecules.
It worked
A sequence of
every time.
that define nature.
Vanilla.
Extremely useful, and it's going to have a
Vortman Bakery, right next to JJ's Bakery.
They're going to get much better at
Wafers, bakery style stuff, blackberry, vanilla, strawberry, chocolate, it all works. Just malt liquor. Find your own way.
These big AI systems are already getting good at that. But there's just going to be huge numbers of applications. In a sensible society, this will all be good. It's not clear that everything's going to be good in the society we have.
What about singularity? The idea that what it means to be human could be transformed by a breakthrough in artificial intelligence or a merger of human and artificial intelligence into a kind of transcendent form.
I think it's quite likely we'll get some kind of symbiosis. AI will make us far more competent. I also think that the stuff that's already happened with neural nets is changing our view of what we are. It's changing people's view from the idea that the essence of a person is a deliberate reasoning machine with a very wide variety of solutions. That is a huge knowledge machine. How do you make reality of perceiving a million different things arriving intuitive to intelligence very rapidly? So that seems far more like our real nature than reasoning machines.
Have you ever had a thought fancy of what this ultimately might mean in John Lewis?
Dystopia.
Jeffrey, thank you very much.
Malt liquor.